Good morning. Happy Wednesday, everyone. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday so far. I hope you had a great Memorial weekend. So, guys, you got come on in, come on in. And as you come in, let me know where you're from. Give me your name. Let me know what city you are logging in from. And if you'd like to add a little bit about, what your business is, let me know that as well because I love to customize my talks. Um, According to what type of businesses that you have. Okay, so as you're coming in, welcome. My name is Seneca Dunmore. They call me the Pine Size Powerhouse. I'm an angel investor. I'm an international speaker, been to over 45 countries, and my specialty is helping small business owners, entrepreneurs, and startups access the capital they need to grow and scale their business. And so as we go through this presentation, I'm going to show you the funding that I've been able to get for myself as well as for my clients, right? So this is not hypothetical. These are not book scenarios. I'm showing you exactly what I've done and what I can do for you as well. And guys, look, I've got this beautiful new passport case. Isn't that beautiful? By a young black lady. And I love this because I love supporting black businesses. Like literally, I polished my nails yesterday. Y'all see that? This beautiful gray color, and it's by a black woman who makes her own polishes. So yeah, as much as it's possible, if I can swing it, I always support black businesses. That's always my first choice. All right. So I'm just putting my new stuff in my passport. So as you guys come in, let me know where you're from. Let me know where you're from, um and also, what do you do? Let me know where you're from and what you do. All right. So we'll get started in just a second. I'm going to let some more people come in on the webinar and we will get started. And I want to be very mindful of your time. So I like to keep it right at an hour. My recruiter from HRT. Oh my God. Is that you, Tony? Yes. Yes. I remember that. That was, oh my God. I lived in DC between 2008 and 2011. So that was quite a while ago. So good to see you, Tony. So good to see you. Hey, Edwin, thank you for logging in. And again, as you come in, let me know what city you're tuning in from and what do you do. So, Edwin Rose is a film director here in the Houston, Texas area. So, if you guys need any work done, cinematography, videography, Edwin is the guy you want to definitely get in touch with. Hey, Tony. Tony, are you still in the DC area? Let me know. Um, it's been a while since I've been in DC. I haven't been in DC since 2017. I was doing a trip to Martha's Vineyard and I stopped through DC, but that was the last time I was there. So, all right, guys, let me know as you come in, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So, let me just make sure my presentation is set up for you guys because I want to make sure that we are all ready to go. It looks like we are. Okay, there we are. Brian currently in Huntsville. Okay, nice to meet you, Brian. And that's Huntsville, Alabama. Okay. Huntsville, Alabama is a thriving city right now because I know you guys have the Space Center there. I haven't been to Huntsville since my college days, but I remember going up there. But Huntsville is definitely a very up and coming city. So that's a great place to be. Hello, I'm in DMV and I am a master herbalist. Oh, Tiffany, that is wonderful. I need to talk to you more because I love herbalist and I love using herbs. I'm just one of those type of people where if there's a natural remedy that I can use before taking any type of medication, I always opt to do that. So I love using herbs, and I got into that one. Years ago, I went to a natural holistic facility, and they used Chinese herbs and chakra therapy and Ayurvedic and homeopathic, right? They used all of these different alternative methods to healing, and none of it was invasive or chemical or medication. So it was phenomenal. So nice to have you, Tiffany. Thank you for joining. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen and we'll get started because, again, I want to keep it within an hour because I want to be very mindful of your time. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you guys. And not only that, but if you have any questions as I'm going through the presentation, if something pops up in your head, something you want to ask me, drop it in the chat and I'll be checking back and forth to answer your questions. So, and again, no question is a dumb question, right? If you're thinking it, somebody else is probably thinking it. If you're confused about something, if you need more clarification, if you need me to expound, and break it down a little bit more, don't hesitate to stop me, right? And make sure that you're putting all of your questions in the chat. Hey again, let's see, Brandon Emmanuel out of New York. All right, the best writer ever, hands down, like 6:30 at your service. I love it. So make sure, guys, you're following each other, that you're clicking on each other's information and following each other and getting each other's information. So thank you, Brandon, for tuning in. And I see Jonathan just jumped in. Jonathan Morrison, Fort Worth, Texas, small business contracting consultant. Oh, we definitely need to talk, Jonathan. So we definitely need to talk because, again, that is my specialty, is connecting founders with funding, and business contracting is a huge thing. So that's kind of how I got my start in the corporate arena, was doing business contracts and things like that. So, all right, guys, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you and we will get started. And again, if you have any questions, just drop them in the chat. All right, guys, as I mentioned, my name is Seneca Dunmore, also known as the Pint-Sized Powerhouse. I'm an international speaker and speaker coach. And today we're going to be going over how I was able to secure $29,000 for my business in 1 month. And that was last year in October. So literally in that 1 month, I was able to secure $29,000 in business funding. And what I'm going to do is kind of unpack some of the mistakes you guys are making that's keeping you from scaling your business. And again, these are easy fixes, right? This is nothing that's detrimental to your business. It's things that you could fix easily. Okay. And if you stay to the end, I'm going to give you the same pitch deck that I used to secure the $29,000. And guys, let me tell you this. Before I had ever done a pitch deck, right? This was my very first time ever doing it. Met with an angel investor who asked me about a pitch deck. I didn't know what that was. And so I started doing some research, asked a couple of people to send over their pitch deck. I put together mine. And guess what? It obviously worked because I was able to secure the funding that I need. And y'all, it was literally just 12 slides. So it wasn't like this big, long, drawn out business plan or anything like that. Like, I literally put together 12 slides to talk about, what the problem was, how I planned on solving it, who was my target demographic, right? Who are the customers that I'm uniquely qualified to serve, right? I put all of that information into this pitch deck. And again, I'll make sure that's available to you if you stay to the end. So again, I'm an international speaker. I'm a speaker coach. I'm an angel investor myself, and I'm a global philanthropist. And so I will show you some of the trips that I've been able to take using non-traditional forms of funding. So we're going to explore both sides. We're going to look at traditional forms of funding your business, and we're going to also look at non-traditional forms of funding your business. And so I've had the pleasure of being featured on international publications, magazines, media. But I always tell people my favorite title is servant. I am what you call a kingdom financier, meaning God has commissioned me, right? God has positioned me as a conduit, right? Where resources flow. So I go out, I find the investors, I work with the banks, right? And I'm the middleman, and I bridge that gap between the founders who need capital and the funders who have access to the capital. Does that make sense? If you guys have any questions, just, drop it in the chat. I'll make sure that I get to it. All right. So guys, again, that $29,000 in funding that I received, part of that money came through JP Morgan Chase, who sponsored my very first conference last year. And so I was invited to an invitation-only networking event that JP Morgan hosted for Black small business owners in the community. They were trying to find out, what were our greatest pain points and how they could serve that demographic, that community. And of course, the biggest, problem that most businesses have, especially Black businesses, is access to capital. We don't have enough working capital in our business. And that's why between, February and April alone in 2020, at the height of the COVID-19 pandemic, 41% of all Black businesses went out of business. Can you believe that? 41%. Okay. And that was because we did not have enough working capital. But, I was able to pitch to JP Morgan, got them to fund my whole event. Okay. So again, the resources are out there, guys. Not only that, but I did so well with my conference. I caught the attention of an angel investor via LinkedIn who gave me another $25,000 investment to start Dunmore Capital Ventures. So I started a whole nother business called Dunmore Capital Ventures, where I connect founders with funding. Right. So I help those who are undercapitalized, who don't have enough money in their business, who are trying to find funding. I find the funders for them. Okay. So I take all the guesswork out of it for you. And if you know anything about me, right, born and raised here in Houston, Texas, on the southeast side of town in a neighborhood called Sunnyside. Sunnyside was considered the 6th most dangerous neighborhood in America at one point. Okay, very dangerous neighborhood. Drugs were running rampant in our community. Crime was par for the course. But what I realized when I, finally got out of Sunnyside, got a scholarship to Tuskegee University and left Texas, I realized that Sunnyside was not a bad neighborhood. Sunnyside was an economically disenfranchised community. Totally different thing, right? So what I was seeing in my community, the violence, the crime, the drugs, was not a result of bad people. It was a result of people in proximity to bad things, right? So we were in proximity to bad things. Now, think about how differently Sunnyside would have looked if we were in proximity to angel investors and venture capitalists and, banking professionals who had a vested interest in making sure we got the resources that we needed. Okay, so let me stress this to you guys. Relationships are the key to advocacy, and advocacy is the key to access. What do I mean by advocacy? When you have someone advocating on your behalf, right? They're going into these rooms that you're not in, right? They're pitching for you. They're making the case on why you should get that funding. Let me give you just a real life example. If you are a small business owner, you should have a personal business banker, someone who, manages your account, who, you're talking to at least on a quarterly basis. One of the reasons why a lot of you are frustrated with, trying to access bank loans and things like that is because you haven't built up enough rapport. You haven't cultivated a relationship with that actual business banker. So now, because you have not built a relationship, you just become another number in a stack of applications, right, with all the other people. Remember, people like doing business with people that they know, like, and trust. If they don't know you, they don't like you, they don't trust you, they're not trying to do business with you. And so one of the ways to cultivate that relationship is making sure you're visiting with your business banker at least once a quarter. You need to be discussing your books. You need to be discussing your accounting and finance. You need to be discussing what projects you have going on. You need to be discussing what type of funding you're going to need moving forward. What kind of holes are in your business right now, right? You need to be discussing all of that, because what that is doing is building trust and rapport. So when some money comes across their table, or when they're trying to find more businesses to invest in and to fund, they're thinking about you. You're top of mind. Excuse me, guys, I am so thirsty. Right? So you're top of mind. Give you a prime example. I had Bank of America, I'm sorry, not Bank of America, US Bank, who I bank with, right, to send with one of their representatives to sponsor my event this past March. And you know how I did that? Because number one, I have an account with them. I have a personal business banker that I'm always communicating with, like letting them know about my conferences, things that I've got going on that I want them to fund. Because again, my vision, what I do, my business aligns with their mission as well, which is getting more resources, more funding into Black and Brown communities. So I made a post on LinkedIn one day about my conference coming up and how I was looking for sponsorships. And guess what? US Bank called me. My contact at US Bank called me because she's the one who handles the budget, the annual budget. So she decides where that money goes every year. So she gave me a call and said, well, Seneca, we want to know more about your conference so that we can put some money aside to sponsor it. Now, how many banks are calling you? How many banks are calling you and saying, Brandon, we have some money we want to give you. Tiffany, we've got some money we want to give you. Jonathan, we've got some resources, some funding that we want to invest in your business. How many of that, how many of you are receiving those type of calls? Most people are like, oh, that's unheard of. Yeah, it's unheard of because you haven't built rapport and a relationship with the people who have access to the capital. Am I making sense? Y'all let me know in the chat. Okay. Y'all let me know in the chat. Okay, so we're going to keep on moving on. So here, remember when I was talking about just, cultivating those relationships and the philanthropic work that I've done? So again, there's different types of funding. There's traditional funding and there's non-traditional. One of my favorite non-traditional forms of funding is crowdfunding, asking other people for their money, basically. And this is money that I don't have to pay back. So in 2019 and 2020, I went to Ghana, right? I did some research at the University of Ghana at their Institute of African Studies. That's me sitting there, right, where you see the red arrow. Guess what? That whole trip was paid in full. The flight itself was $2,600. And again, remember, I needed a hotel for 16 days, all of that. All of it was paid through crowdfunding. I did a medical mission in Luanda, Angola, in Africa in 2016. All of that paid in full. You see me with those beautiful babies right there. In 2016, the very same year, I went to Africa twice, right? I went to Angola and then I went to South Africa. So I taught in Darling, South Africa, about 45 minutes outside of Cape Town. And let me tell you, if you have not been to South Africa, it is breathtakingly beautiful. You should go, okay? But I taught out there some IT courses. I went with 6 other women. And guess what? Paid in full. I didn't have to come out of my pocket for anything. Not only that, but I've been to Kenya 3 times. I've done 3 medical missions in Kenya. Had all of that paid for through the power of crowdfunding. So what I want to stress to you is, even if you're not looking to get traditional forms of funding, meaning angel investments, venture capital investments, bank loans, small business grants, right? If you're looking more to the non-traditional side, crowdfunding is a great way to do that. And if you want more information about crowdfunding, I do have a course on that shows you how to set up your crowdfund to really maximize it and get the money that you need for whatever business venture that you're doing. And again, guys, don't be afraid to ask people for their money. People think just because you're asking for money that you don't have it. No, let me tell you what wealthy people do. They ask for other people's money. They maximize their investment by spreading their risk, meaning they're not putting all their money in. They use other people's money. They leverage other people's resources to maximize their investment. Okay? You should be doing that as well. So let's keep going. Again, drop your questions in there. If you have any questions, drop them in there. So again, guys, you are your greatest investment. By me investing in myself, it has taken me to over 45 countries. Okay, you are your greatest investment. And remember, when you're talking to investors, funders, they want to know that you're also investing in you. And what does that look like, right? That looks like professional development. That looks like investing in conferences and, learning, reading, going to school, whatever the case may be. But they want to see that you're investing in your own business. So that brings me to point number 1. Okay, I hope you guys are writing this information down. Point number 1, investors want to see proof, not potential. Investors want to see proof, not potential. We all have the potential to be great. We all have the potential to do wonderful things. Potential doesn't matter. They want to see the proof in what it is that you're doing. So if you're running a small business or if you're, a startup, you're trying to get started, they want to see that you have some traction in your business, meaning you have an ideal audience that you're marketing to. And this ideal audience wants what you have. A lot of times we'll build stuff hoping that this is what the market wants, and that's not what the market wants. You need to give the market what it wants, and it will let you know what it wants because it will be ready to pay for it. If the market is not paying for your products and services, that's not exactly what it wants, or you may be just ahead of your time. Okay, so let me give you some social proof. So this is Becky Williams. She is a mother, a wife, business owner for the last 20 years. She came to me because she was getting a lot of traction in her business. She wanted to become a more, confident, compelling communicator. And so she joined one of my speaking programs. And in less than 2 months, we were able to secure a six-figure contract for her business in less than 2 months. Okay, this is Joy Jackson. Joy was actually let go from her six-figure corporate job the day of starting one of my speaker programs. And in less than 60 days, she secured her first two paid speaking engagements. The first one paid her $2,500, and the second one paid her $5,000. So she made $7,500 in that month with just two speaking engagements. And so, guys, I'm telling y'all what I've done, not what I've heard, right? I'm not giving you theory and stuff that I read out of a book. I'm showing you what I've done for myself and what I've been able to do for my clients. Okay. So next we have Janae. Janae, same thing. She runs her own business, right? She runs a human capital consulting firm. She deals in that DEI space. And the same, right? She wanted to become better at pitching and marketing her business. And so she joined one of my accelerator programs. And she now has built a whole new stream of income in her business, just by pitching and marketing her business and speaking. So now she makes an additional 5 figures a month for her business just through that. And I'm not talking about all the other products and services that she offers in her business. So again, guys, you want to have that proof. You want to be able to show, investors, how your business is working. Because people want to get behind the winner, right? They want to naturally invest in the person who's already winning. Now, I'm not saying that your business has to be, making tons of money and you have to have it all figured out and you have to have all the best systems and things like that. No, you don't have to have that at all. But it needs to have some type of traction. It needs to have some type of social proof that that's what the market wants. Okay. So the second thing, guys, you need more than people with influence. You need advocates who have affluence. Who knows the difference between influence and affluence? Anybody want to take a crack at that? Who wants to tell me what's the difference between influence and affluence? Anybody? What is the difference between influence and affluence? Right, affluence meaning these are individuals who come with the capital resources. So again, you want to start cultivating relationships with the people who already have access to the resources that you're looking for. Okay. And let me give you a couple of prime examples. One of the things I always encourage people to do is to use LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the best places to find people with influence and affluence. So the gentleman that you see here is a gentleman that I met through LinkedIn. He actually spoke at my very first conference. He is a patent attorney for artificial intelligence and machine learning. So he deals with emerging technologies. And guess what? He has unicorn clients. So unicorn clients are businesses that are valued at over $1 billion. Y'all, it took me like 4 or 5 months just to get a meeting with him. It took me months just to get a meeting with him, but it was the best thing I've ever done because guess what? Now that I've been able to tap in with him, he's been able to tap into my network and I've been able to tap into his. I want to know people like this. I want to know people who are talking to other businesses that are making over $1 billion because that means they can better position me to do the same. I don't want to talk to somebody, who's not making the money that I'm looking to make. Because if they've never done it before, then how are they going to tell me how to do it? And again, these might be good people, but they might be the wrong people to talk to when it comes to the actual funding. Okay, y'all quiet. Let me know how y'all feeling. Let me know in the chat what y'all thinking so far. This is another gentleman, Brandon Ziegler, who is an angel investor. And then he also manages a $4.6 billion investment portfolio. Y'all, I met the gentleman via LinkedIn. Have y'all noticed a pattern here? I'm talking a lot about LinkedIn. Some of these top investors that I've been able to network, do business with, I've met through LinkedIn. That's where they're hanging out. Okay, between LinkedIn and Twitter, that's where you're going to find a lot of those investors. They're not on Facebook. They're not on Instagram all day. They're between LinkedIn and Twitter. Okay. Third thing, okay? Number 3, you want to start volunteering where the people with the money are. You want to start volunteering where the people with the money are. Where do they hang out, Seneca? They're at conferences, they're at trade shows, they're at sporting events, they're at cigar bars, right? They're working out at the gym between 4 and 7 a.m. People are like, why do they get there that early? Because they have businesses to run. They've got people to manage. So they got to get their workout done at the beginning of the day because that gives them more energy. Because guess what? By 3, 4 o'clock, they're trying to be at somebody's happy hour. By 7, 8 o'clock, they're trying to be at home having dinner with their family because now they got to do it all over again. You see what I'm saying? Like there's a certain way that people with money move. They're not out at 10, 11 o'clock. That's a whole nother crowd. Those are the people who generally are not making the millions and billions of dollars. You're not going to find them out late. The millionaires and the billionaires, the people with affluence, you're not going to find them hanging out like that. Okay. Now, let me show you some of the success that I've had with volunteering. So some of the organizations that I love to volunteer with is Black Enterprise. I love to volunteer with the National Black MBA Association. I love volunteering with the Texas Women's Conference because these type of conferences bring out, you know, some of the most affluent people. Some of these conferences cost $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000. Those are the type of people I want to be around because I know that they have financial resources if they can afford a $10,000 conference. You see what I'm saying? So you need to be volunteering. The reason why I would volunteer because it was at one point I could not afford to be at those conferences, but I still wanted to be in the room. So I found out the best way to get in the room was to volunteer. Because guess what? If I volunteered, I didn't have to pay to be there, but I still got access to everything else that everybody who paid to be there got access to. So let's just take, for example, Black Enterprise, right? They hold like a Women of Power Summit. They host their, you know, entrepreneurial summit. So they host all of these great conferences around business ownership, entrepreneurship. And so they always have 3 shifts, a morning shift, an afternoon shift, and an evening shift. What I would do is I'd volunteer in the morning because once my shift was over, I could now enjoy everything that everybody was doing for the middle shift and the last shift. So I could go mix and mingle with all the millionaires, all the wealthy people who paid for these high tickets, right? Because I volunteered that morning. Y'all, best thing to ever do. So here's the lady. Here's Cent Marshall. She's the CEO of the Dallas Mavericks. I met her in Vegas in 2018 at the Black Enterprise Women of Power Summit. That very same year, I was able to meet Valerie Jarrett, who was the senior advisor to President Barack Obama. Right? That very same year, I was able to meet millionaire and best-selling author, investor, speaker, Farrah Gray. And y'all, these are only a handful. I mean, I could give you an extensive list of all the millionaires and billionaires that I've been able to meet by simply volunteering at these high-level conferences. So if that's not what you're doing, you need to make that a priority. Put that on your list. Make that a priority of something you need to do. Okay. Now, this is what I want you guys to understand. The quickest pathway to financial capital is social capital. What is social capital? Meaning cultivating the relationship. Money is a game of relationship. Business is a game of relationships. Okay. So in order to get access to the capital that you need, you're going to have to start cultivating relationships with the people who have access to the resources. You might have friends who have the best of intentions, but guess what? If they're not making money and if they don't have access to the resources, that's probably not the person you need to be talking to. Okay. So let me tell y'all, again, I cultivate a ton of relationships with bankers, investors, okay, funders. So here is, remember I told y'all US Bank, sponsor my last event. And I also have a business bank account with US Bank. Right now, they have a US Bank Access Fund. There's $30 million in that fund. They're looking for 30,000 women of color to give those funds to. Right? So, Tiffany, you definitely need to be looking into getting that funding. They are looking for 30,000 women of color owned micro business owners to give that funding to. And people are like, Seneca, how do you know this information? Because I get to know the people on the inside who have access to the capital. And guess what? They tell me about what funding that they have available. So that's just US Bank. Remember, I told y'all I had JP Morgan Chase, who is the #1 bank in the United States, to fund my conference last year. Right now, they have $2 billion that they're looking to deploy between Black, Latina, and women-owned businesses. They're looking to deploy those funds over the next 5 years. They started in 2020. So guess what? We got 2 more years of funding that they got to give out. Why are you not asking for that money? It looks like to me that everybody here is a person of color, which means if I were you, I'd be finding some contacts within JP Morgan Chase, going up there, having coffee with them, inviting them out, asking them about those funds and what you can do to access it. If you have a nonprofit organization that deals with, getting resources to the youth or whatever the case may be, you need to be asking about those funds. If you have a for-profit business, you need to be asking about those funds. That's how I got my conference sponsored. Because I told them, hey, I know you guys have $2 billion that you're looking to deploy to Black, Latina, and women-owned businesses. I'm Black and I'm a woman-owned business. So how do I get that money? And guys, let me tell y'all, once I signed the paperwork, they cut the check the same day. The same day. Okay. Another client of mine that I just started building a relationship with over the last couple of months, PNC Bank. They used to be number 6 in the nation. Now they're number 4. So they have an $88 billion community development initiative going on. $47 billion is allocated towards home lending. So if you're a first-time home buyer, you're looking to invest into real estate, right? $47 billion. $26.5 billion of that is for small businesses. I'm pretty sure everybody on here is a small business, meaning, small businesses, meaning you make under $25 million annually. Okay. And 14.5 billion of that is for community development. Guys, they are not going to stop printing money anytime soon. The resources are out here and available. One of the prime reasons why we don't get the resources is because we will not go in and ask for the money. Literally, I was just having lunch a couple of weeks ago with my contact at PNC Bank, and she is one of the vice presidents over minority lending. She was like, Seneca, we're having a hard time finding the people to give the money to because they won't come in and apply for the funding. Can you believe that? I can believe it. Men of color as well, Snow. Men of color as well. Black business owners. Right? Communities of color. So you qualify for that funding as well. But literally, they're having a problem finding the people. That's why I created Access Granted, because I wanted to bridge the gap between the people who needed access to the capital and the people who have the capital to give access to. Okay. So again, those are 3 banks that I work with on a personal and business level. And so that's why I know about the funding. That's why I get my own events sponsored and paid for and not have to use my own money. And that's why I want to show you guys how to leverage other people's resources and not, go broke using all of your own money. All right. So remember, business is a team sport. You should be in business for yourself, but you should not be in business by yourself. All of your money should not be used to fund your business. There are more than enough resources, grants, loans, angel investments, venture capital, right? There's tons of other resources out there that you could be using. So now you can build more businesses, right? You can spread the risk. You can leverage more of those resources. You can scale quicker. You can stop wasting a lot of time doing it by yourself. Stop wasting a lot of money doing it by yourself. You can have more time for family, travel, doing the things that you love, living life on your terms, have more freedom and flexibility. That's what it's all about. The purpose of wealth is not to just accumulate a lot of money. The purpose of wealth is to have the time to enjoy it. Okay. Now, let me ask you guys a question. How many of you are having trouble accessing the capital that you need to grow and scale your business? How many of you are having trouble accessing the capital that you need to grow and scale your business? Let me know in the chat. How many of you are having trouble, accessing the funds, knowing where the funds are? Maybe you don't know how to get started. And if I could offer you a solution, right, that would take all of that guesswork out, that would take all of that dilemma out, would you be interested? Let me know in the chat, yes or no. Let me know in the chat, yes or no. Okay, so Snow says, this will be my first time seeking. Well, you're in a great position because I always tell people, find out first and get started, right? You don't have to have it all together before you get started. So Snow says, yes, he'd be interested in learning more. Okay, so guys, for those of you who said, yes, I'm having trouble accessing the capital. I don't know where to start. I don't know what funding resources to ask for, right? I don't know how to go about the process, and I need some help. Well, let me show you, right? Remember when I talked about my Access Granted Conference? I will be hosting my third annual Access Granted Conference here in Houston, Texas at the Marriott Marquis on June 16th and 17th. The theme is less dialogue, more dollars. Less talking and more putting money in the hands of Black business owners. And guys, let me show you what you get, okay? You're going to get a welcome package from me and the sponsors, which is valued at $45. You're going to get an exquisite 3-course dining experience from the hotel itself, valued at $100 per person. You're going to have a cocktails in the courtyard business networking experience. Okay, that alone is valued at $158 because what you're going to be able to do is network with the investors, network with other like-minded business professionals. That's where the gold is. Okay, you're going to get 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn e-course because remember, I told y'all, if you're not making money on LinkedIn, you're using it wrong. If you're not meeting investors, if you're not cultivating relationships with the actual funders via LinkedIn, you are not using it the way it should be. And so Snow just said, I've always funded my own businesses. I get it. A lot of people have. And that's the reason why you're having such a hard time growing and scaling it, because unless you're a millionaire already, right? Even millionaires don't put all their money into their businesses. Y'all do know that, right? The reason why the wealthy keep getting wealthier, right, is because they diversify their portfolio. They leverage other people's resources. They don't use all of their own resources, and neither should you. Okay. And not only that, right? So I'm going to give you that 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn course to show you how to go after the funders, how to talk to them, how to invite them out for coffee, how to cultivate relationships with them, how to build your profile in such a way that when investors see it, right, they're wanting to talk to you. And also, you're going to get all access to the keynote and breakout sessions on the days of the conference. That's valued itself at $1,497. Guys, everything that I'm giving you is a total value of $1,997. Now, again, don't let that scare you, because let me show you. One of the things that makes this conference so different and so unique is because I'm putting you in the room with the actual funders, not the secretaries, not the executive assistants. I'm putting you in the room with the actual funders, the decision makers, right? So we're going to be talking to the people who sign the front of the checks, not the back of the check. Totally different ball game, totally different conversation. The reason why many of you are frustrated because you're talking to people who signed the back of the check. They're not the decision makers, right? You need to be cultivating relationships with the people who signed the front of the check. And we're going to show you exactly how to do that. So let me just show you the incredible speaker lineup that we have this year. I'm talking about incredible. So, of course, y'all know me on the end, right? Going from left to right. My name is Seneca Dunmore. I'm an angel investor. I'm an international speaker, over 45 countries. And I am the CEO and founder of Dunmore Capital Ventures, LLC, right? Where we exist to connect founders with funding. Next to me, I have Abraham J. Williamson, who's a venture capitalist. He's also a tech startup attorney out of Nashville, Tennessee. Y'all, I mean, spectacular individual. Has a bachelor's from Howard, a master's from Cambridge, and a law degree from Harvard University. And he's only 30 years old. And when I tell you brilliant on so many levels. In the middle, we have Christopher Senegal, who's going to be our headliner this year. Christopher Senegal is a powerhouse here in the Houston community. He's a real estate investor and developer, one of the few Black developers here in Houston. He has over $100 million in real estate projects going on right now in the Houston market. Okay, next to him is Dr. Shantae. She's a capital activist. She is also an impact and venture investor. So she runs her own global organization called Black Pearl Global Investments, where she invests in other small businesses and startups. And she has locations in the United States as well as Africa. So she's international as well. On the end, we have Pedro Moore, who's a venture capital advisor. He's also the CEO and founder of Funding Fuel. This is the venture capital advisor for Damon John on Shark Tank. Pedro Moore, you're welcome. Okay. At the bottom, we have Marley Watkins, who is a lawyer as well. He is a business structuring expert, right? So he shows you how to build out your multiple LLCs, how to structure your business, how to protect your assets, how to maximize your profits, how to minimize your taxes and liabilities. Y'all do know a lot of these, super wealthy millionaires, billionaires, there's a way that they can avoid paying taxes, and it's totally legal. It's totally legal. It has everything to do with how you structure your business on the front end. Marley has, most of his clients are like professional athletes. So showing you how to structure your business is going to be a cakewalk. And he's going to show you how to save so much money and how to really maximize your profits and minimize your liabilities. I mean, I would be coming for just him alone. If they didn't have anybody else on this panel, I would be coming just for Marley. Okay, because he has worked with accounts over 10 billion. So if there's anybody I know who knows about money, I definitely want to be talking to the guy who deals with multi-billion-dollar accounts. Okay, next to him is Williams D. Brack, who used to be the vice president of Regions Bank. He also comes from the investing and wealth management world. He's an author. He's a podcaster. Just finished a wonderful book that I purchased and read. Is phenomenal. That talks about how to approach banks and become a more bankable business. And he's also a business coach. So again, if you need coaching on how to build your business, how to build a profitable business, you want to be talking to Williams Brack. Next to him is Polly Uthe, who deals in life insurance policies and showing you how to, how to grow your wealth, how to make your money make money for you. And last but not least, we have Adonis Lockett, who is a real estate investor. He is also the director of LNH Capital. And right now they are building $100 million funds. I think he's already at 60 million. And we're only halfway through the year. And he's already more than halfway to his goal. So I don't know about you guys, but this is exactly the type of people that I would want to be in the room with, because these are the people who are already doing it, who have access to the resources and have the capital and the capacity to make it available to you. Okay. So again, at this conference, not only are you going to have access to all the keynote and breakout sessions, meaning you're going to be able to talk to all the funders and investors. You're going to get that 3-course dining experience, which you get to mix and mingle with other like-minded business professionals. You're going to be able to have a nice cocktails in the courtyard where you can mix and mingle, have a nice glass of wine. Okay. I'm also going to give you my monetized LinkedIn course where I'm going to show you how to make your profile profitable, show you how to make money on LinkedIn. And not only did that, but here's a young lady who came to my conference twice, right? I've already had 2 conferences in Charlotte, North Carolina. She came the first year and 1 month later secured a $10,000 grant. To date, she's already secured $76,000 in funding for her business. Right? Then I tell y'all, I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what we've done. Okay, this young lady, Taylor Red, she owns the only vodka company in the Charlotte, North Carolina area. Just won a $5,000 pitch competition, and guess what? All of her, her liquor, her vodka is in every major retailer right now. And guys, during the height of the pandemic in 2020, I was hired by a community nonprofit to build a digital literacy program for them. I ended up working with a fabulous grant writer here in Houston, Texas. And together we were able to secure $5.4 million in grant funding for that one program. $5.4 million for that one program. So again, I've helped for-profits and nonprofits secure capital. So let me ask you guys, if all this did, right? If you were coming to the Access Granted Conference and all it did was give you access to a network of wealthy individuals who can show you where the funding is, how to access it, and possibly make an investment in your business, would it be worth the $1,997? Let me know. Let me put it in the chat. Let me know. If you came to Access Granted and all it did was give you access to a network of wealthy individuals, right, funders and investors who can show you how to get the funding, where the funding is, and possibly make an investment in your business, would it be worth it? Would it be worth the $1,997? Let me know. Yes or no in the chat. Let me know. Let me know. Would it be worth it? I'm waiting on you guys. Let me know. Would it be worth it? If it would save you time, if it would save you money, right? If it would give you access to the people that you needed, absolutely. Snow said yes, it would absolutely be worth it. So here's the deal, guys. For that priority access ticket for Access Granted, right? You get the welcome package from me and sponsors, $45 value. You get the exquisite 3-course dining experience, $100 value. Cocktail in the courtyard, business networking experience, $158 value. 30-day access to my monetized LinkedIn e-course, which is $197 value, and access to all the keynote and breakout sessions, meaning access to all the investors and the speakers. $1,497 value, right? That total value is $1,997 today. If you go ahead and buy your ticket, it's only $497. We are offering tickets to the conference, to the next Access Granted conference, for only $497. So that saves you $1,500. Only $497. And this is the best part. I called PayPal myself, right? And I asked them, I said, could I offer a buy now, pay later option for my customers? We're getting close. I want to make sure that the people who want to be there, who deserve to be there, can get in the room. Can we offer them a buy now, pay later option? And PayPal said yes. And guess what? You can do it 2 ways. There are 2 easy options. You can pay in 4, which means you make 1 payment up front. You'd have 3 more to go, and you split it up bi-weekly. So you'd have a $124 payment every 2 weeks. So you'd have it paid off in 2 months. And the best part, there's no payment hassle, right? There's no late fees. It's interest free, so you're not paying any interest, and there's no late fees. Also, if you need a little bit more time to make the payments, you can do the other option, which is pay monthly. So you can do 6, 12, or 24 months. So you can split that $497 payment up into 6 months, 12 months, or 24 months. And guess what? There's 0 down, so you don't have to put any money down today. and there's no sign up or late fees. This, when I tell y'all guys, this is a no-brainer. This is why I wanted to offer this. June 16th and 17th. I'm gonna put that in the chat. So guys, I've made it as easy as possible for you to get in the room. Because again, you can't be what you can't see. If you're wanting to learn how to get funding for your business and you're not around the funders, good luck with that. You need to get in the room with the actual funders, because this is all about cultivating those relationships. Okay. So again, you got two easy options. You can do pay in 4, where you do 1 down payment and 3 more to go. There's no no late fees, no interest fees. Or you can do a monthly payment plan, which you can pay 6, 12, or 24 months. There's 0 down today and no sign up or late fees. And let me end with this, right? If you are interested, you'll do what's convenient. If you are committed, you'll do whatever it takes. People ask me, Seneca, how did you become an international speaker so fast? Because I learned about a conference that was happening in Delaware, and I was still living here in Texas. And the conference was $4,000. It was from a lady who was already an international speaker. She was already a multimillionaire. And guess what? I was like, I want to be just like her. I want to be making that type of money, running that type of business, having that type of time and flexibility, having that type of freedom, and traveling all over the world. I invested the $4,000 in that conference. And guys, that didn't even include the hotel. That didn't include my flight. That did not include food. It only included the conference. But that was one of the best investments that I've ever made in myself, because guess what? Less than a year later, I became an international speaker. Less than a year later, I got my first international speaking gig in Darling, South Africa. And the rest is history, because 45 countries later, here I am. So again, if you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. If you're committed, you'll do whatever it takes. So let me show you a video of the young lady who actually got funded.
Hey, my name is Kimberly Evans. I am the founder and CEO of Just a Rideshare, a rideshare community of women drivers and riders, providing a safe alternative rideshare experience based right here in Charlotte, North Carolina. Listen, I wanted to tell you guys about an event that I attended last year called Access Granted. And guess what? It's about to happen again in March, and I am so excited. Listen, this pint-sized powerhouse, Seneca Dunmore, has put on an amazing event in past, and she is doing it again. So last year, and I have my notes even from last year, she everything was great from top to bottom. The camaraderie, the networking, the food was amazing, and the speakers that she brought in actually had powerful content to share. Everything from alternative business funding with Tanika Stafford, right? It was amazing, to angel investors, Padowitz, who talked about their theses and companies that they typically invest in. There were accountants there and strategists and planners, and it was just so amazing. And then Seneca herself talked about the power of crowdfunding and how you can basically use crowdfunding for anything. And it was a powerful lesson. So since the event, I have gone on to pursue and to win grant funding, which she talked a lot about that as well. And it was just so amazing. And I cannot wait to see what she has in store for us this year. So if you are in the Charlotte area or anywhere close to the Charlotte area, you do not want to miss Access Granted this year. Check it out. Follow her on LinkedIn. Look it up and be in the house, because, again, I cannot wait to see what's coming this year. All right. Thanks.
Right. So you guys heard it from her. That was someone who attended my first conference. After my first conference, ended up getting a $10,000 grant. And she just attended the second conference in Charlotte, North Carolina. Hopefully she'll be at the third one. And so guys, again, you can get started today for just $497. Right? Remember, you're getting a $1,997 value today for only $497. And you have the option of buying now and paying later, which means you don't have to stress yourself out about, how you're going to pay it off and all those types of things, right? You get the time that you need to pay the money, and you can still get in the room with the investors. Okay. So let me know, you know, who's interested in coming to the Access Granted Conference and getting in the room with those investors. So you can stop funding your own business. You can stop bootstrapping and spending all of your own money on your business and start leveraging other resources. And again, you can go, and there's three ways to pay, right? You can do a one-time payment, you can do a payment plan, or you can do a buy now, pay later through PayPal. And for those of you who are interested in the buy now, pay later, I'm going to go ahead and add that link in there. And all you have to do is choose the PayPal option. Any questions for me? I'll go ahead and start taking questions now. But if I were you, if you're here in the Houston market, right, or anywhere close, you need to be putting it on your calendar to be at the Access Granted Conference June 16th and 17th. Right? You need to be there. Mix and mingle with other like-minded business professionals, other small business owners, other entrepreneurs who are having, some of them are experiencing the same issues. Some of them are already ahead, right, where you want to be, and can give you the advice that you need, can give you the resources that you need. Not only that, but you're going to be in the room with the actual funders. Any questions? Any questions? Any questions for me? Any questions? Any questions? Are there no questions? That means I did a really good job if there's no questions. You got all the information that you need to make an educated decision. Any questions? Speak now, forever hold your peace. This is the time. Ask me anything you need to ask me. This is the time. Drop it in the chat. Ask me any questions. You're welcome, Snow. Thank you. Thank you for attending, Snowball. Anybody else? I'll wait around a few more minutes. Any questions for me? Any questions about what to expect? How to prepare? Any questions? All right, guys. Well, I'll go ahead and end it here. We're right at 59 minutes, which means we stayed within the hour like we wanted to. If you think of anything, just definitely drop me a LinkedIn DM. That's probably where you'll find me the most. Drop me a DM in LinkedIn if you have it. If there's something that you think about that you just couldn't quite think about right now, go ahead and drop me a DM, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. And guys, thank you so much for joining me today. I don't take it lightly when people give of their time, right, and choose to tune in and share that hour with me. So I appreciate your attentiveness. I appreciate your engagement. And I hope to see you guys at my next Access Granted conference in Houston, Texas, June 16th and 17th at the Marriott Marquis Hotel. Okay. You guys have a fabulous Wednesday and a wonderful weekend. See you later.